The Irving Archives and Museum is rapidly preparing to reopen its doors, and there's a lot of great news to share. Jen Landry joins me via Zoom with lots of news. So, Jen, it's so great to see you. And
Great to
I,
see you, Kathy.
I especially love this background. Would you give us a hint? Where are you?
I am in the permanent exhibit, The Irving Story, which looks at Irving's history and tells our story up through the present day. And I'm sitting in the suburban kitchen right now. So the era where Irving really starts to grow and expand, and we look at the evolution of the kitchen and how important that was in suburban architecture and development. And of course, plastics and electricity and all the kind of really interesting changes that happen in our domestic life during that period.
I have to ask you, since you shared it with me, and I think that viewers would love to know it, there's a little Easter egg in this exhibit.
There is. So if I move my head, that is the kitchen window. And the designers surprised us with a picture of the Ruth Payne house. So we knew it was going to be a picture of an outdoor setting in a suburban development. But when they brought it in and installed it, we're like, we recognize that.
That is great. I love it. And I know that people can really look forward to that kind of thing happening in the exhibit. So people are really excited to get in there. But for viewers who aren't familiar, what else might they see when they come through?
So the Irving story looks at Irving's development from the frontier settlement period up through present day and beyond. And so the first section is a frontier section and early founding of the town. That's where you'll find the railroad depot and a general store, and of course our original plot map from the first sale of lots in Irving. And then I'm in the suburban section, where we look at that massive period of development where we're a bedroom community to Dallas. Really a very typical suburb for the 1950s and 60s. And then the third section is the international section, where we look at how Irving becomes a city of its own. So Texas Stadium, putting Irving onto the national stage. There's a cockpit with a pretty amazing flight simulation flying in and out of DFW Airport, and then Las Colinas, and just the diversity and changes that have happened in the city in the last 30 years.
Well, when can we anticipate seeing all of this? What do you think about the reopening? Do you have an idea yet?
We do. So we are easing into it because everything is a challenge in 2020. But we're going to have a preview week, October 28th, where we'll get some feedback from some invited guests on how the reservation process works and orientation, and then just the experience in the museum. And then everything going according to plan, November 4th, we will open on a group reservation basis. So you'll be able to go online and reserve a time. And some people maybe have heard of pandemic pods or have social bubbles. So self-determined groups, whether that's a family group, education pod, or a group of friends or couples that, have agreed to follow certain safety standards and gather together so they have some socialization. We'll be able to provide them with an experience where they'll be the only group in the museum. And so they will know exactly who they're going to encounter and interact with. And then that also allows us as a staff to have a limited amount of engagement with the visitor as well. So we're trying to look at safety on both sides to make sure everyone feels comfortable and safe. We'll have 2 of those reservations a day, 1 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon. That'll give us time to clean between them.
That's wonderful, and it sounds like you guys have really paid some attention to how to keep your visitors and the staff safe. Now, before I let you go, the museum has recently received some wonderful recognition. Tell us about that.
We have received the Business Council for the Arts Obelisk Award for 2020 for small new initiatives for our India Ala Art project. So that was our collaboration we did with Think India. It's actually still up. We plan to try to leave that up through January so people can still see it, because we were only open for a month before we had to close. But that award recognition is for that community collaboration we did to bring American Indian culture to the museum, both through an exhibit and through programming. And we're really honored to receive that award. It's a prestigious honor, and it just was such a great affirmation of, you know, what we want this museum to be for the community, and that it's being recognized as being award winning.
That is wonderful and so well deserved. The exhibit and was such a great collaboration and wonderful to see it. I'm so glad that people will have an opportunity to see it again, or, you know, maybe for the first time. So
Yes.
thanks so much for being here, Jen. Thanks for all of the great news. Folks, you can keep up with details on the museum reopening plans at irvingartscenter.com/museum-and-archives. Hope to see you there.